everybody. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. We'll give everybody a minute or two, and then we'll get starting with this webinar. Thanks for your patience. One more minute. About PMI's new Authorized Training Partner Program. My name is Lisandra Bohn. I am welcoming you to this webinar. The audience of this webinar is chapter leaders around Europe. So many of you, and I had the pleasure to already engage with many of you. So welcome. Thank you for being here. We are taking this opportunity to make sure that our chapters across Europe are getting familiar with the changes that PMI is making as of the 1st of July to its RAP program, because we noticed that you have lots of interaction with RAPs in your local markets. Some of you are in collaboration agreements with your RAPs, but in general, you obviously would like to know what's happening, what changes we are making to really understand them and know what impact that is going to have onto your chapters and your partners in the market. So thanks for spending this hour today, this afternoon with us. Obviously, these are crazy times, and we really appreciate you spending this hour with us versus in other possibly more important matters. But thanks for being here. I'd like to introduce everybody who is going to help us facilitate this call today. First of all, John Char, one of my dear colleagues who has been working a lot on redesigning this new Authorized Training Partner Program. So John is going to walk us through many of the changes so they get a better understanding of the program. Also with us on the call is Beth Hogan, PMI's Director, Educational Provider Networks, and also Jenny Staley, a PMI Channel Manager. So Jenny is going to monitor the chat. You are going to have an opportunity to ask your questions, Q&A, in the Q&A box. You should find this on your right side. And I would suggest that maybe we first listen to John's presentation. And if there's any questions at the end that remain unanswered, you can start typing them into the chat box. Jenny is going to monitor and feed the questions then to John and myself, should there be any questions that John cannot answer more related to chapters. Again, thanks for being here with us, and I would like to hand it over to John now. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisanne. Thanks so much for your help. And again, thank you all for taking time out of your busy days to attend our webinar. And we certainly do hope that you find it informative. So as you all are aware, PMI has been transforming to really benefit all of our stakeholders. So we are really changing the way PMI operates and how it conducts itself to benefit our chapters, volunteers, third-party organizations, schools and universities, our colleagues, PMI members, certification holders, as well as our training partners. And what we're going to talk about today are some of the reasons that we are implementing the Authorized Training Provider Program change, some of the details of the program, as well as specific information for chapters. So we did start to communicate these plans back in November of 2019, and the REP program was founded back in 1999. And since its inception, very little changes have been made to it. So the changes that we are implementing are designed to benefit our customers in their career journeys. And at this juncture, we do have an opportunity to better serve our customers by providing them with the exam preparation materials they need and delivered in the format that they prefer. And that content is going to be delivered by instructors that they can trust. And again, this is all to help them be successful in their careers. So since November, we have been taking next steps to determine the program future. And we did share the following with our REPs and PMI chapters. So again, back in November, we shared some very basic details about sunsetting the REP program. On January 21st, we released a timeline of when more information will be communicated. And then just on the 24th of February, full program details were shared, including the benefits, pricing, and requirements to apply. And included in those details was a program guide that included full program details for our training providers. It included information to help training providers decide if they were interested in applying to the new program. It included some information around why those organizations should join the Authorized Training Partner Program, the benefits of the program, the pricing structure, the requirements to join the program, and we also provided sneak peeks for the PMP exam prep official content and the ATP Train the Trainer program. So why should a training partner join? Our training partners are going to receive unprecedented visibility on PMI.org. And what that means is that anytime a student visits PMI.org to learn more about PMI certifications or to find training offerings for exam prep or any other course they may be interested in, they are going to be directed to one of our authorized training partners. And all of our partners will receive an endorsement from PMI. 9 out of 10 customers state that they look for PMI-approved instructors when searching for PMP exam prep and training. All of our partners will have access to turnkey content. When we did conduct this research, 4 out of 5 customers believe it is important to be taught PMI-developed content. And all instructors that are delivering PMP exam prep courses through an authorized training partner will receive training. An ATP Train the Trainer program sets up your organization for success and prepares your instructors to deliver exam content up to quality standards. And here are the benefits of the ATP program. Organizations will have the ability to join at one of 2 tiers, and those organizations joining at the basic tier will have access to licensed PMP exam prep content, including instructor manuals, knowledge checks, and online learning assets. Our basic partners will have access to PMI intellectual property from all PMI standards, and will also have the ability to enable virtual instructor-led online delivery of courses. Our basic partners are going to receive 1 complimentary training voucher for the ATP Train the Trainer program, and will have the ability to be a Pearson VUE testing center. Our basic partners will have an exclusive listing on PMI.org, as preferred PMP exam prep partners. Our basic partners are also going to have the ability to offer PMI pre-approved PDU-eligible courses, as well as submit batch PDU claims on behalf of their students. Organizations that enroll in the premium tier will receive the same benefits as the basic tier. However, they will also have access to cloned PMP exam questions to help them create PMP practice exams for their students. Our premium partners are also going to receive account management support, including performance reviews, lead generation and marketing, dedicated customer care support, as well as brand compliance monitoring. They will have access to performance dashboards, and all RFPs that get posted through PMI will be made available to our premium partners. And last but not least, our premium partners will receive a 55% discount on PMI published books available in the PMI bookstore. Now on to the pricing. Organizations based in Europe that enroll at the basic tier will pay an annual fee of $6,999. Those organizations based in Europe that wish to join at the premium tier will pay an annual fee of $9,999. Any organization that is offering PMP exam prep courses will be required to pay a $99 fee per student per course. And one important point to note is that if an organization delivers exam prep for other PMI certifications, we're simply offering PDU eligible courses, they will not be required to pay the per person fee. Now on to the program requirements. All organizations enrolled in the ATP program must use the PMI provided course content for PMP exam prep courses. All instructors that are delivering PMP exam prep on behalf of an ATP must complete the Authorized Train the Trainer program. Those instructors also must possess a PMP certification and be in good standing with PMI, and must have Agile project experience. Organizations interested in applying to the program must be a legal business entity for at least 3 years and must be delivering project management training for 3 years as well. Chapters who need PMP exam prep training can follow the request for proposal process to find an authorized training partner. If a PMI chapter wants to deliver PMP exam prep to their members without partnering with an authorized training partner, they will need to join the ATP program. Volunteers within PMI chapters may not train for a fee in their chapter. This is in order to avoid any conflict of interest. Chapters who become ATPs may not permit their own volunteers to serve as instructors. However, their members can serve as instructors. And chapters who wish to offer PMP training must become an ATP or use an authorized training partner. All organizations enrolled in the program must be able to provide in-person and/or virtual instructor-led courses. They must adhere to PMI brand guidelines and policies, and must be able to pass a background and credit check. ATPs must have documented customer resolution issue processes, must adhere to the new program pricing model, and must agree to upload guaranteed to run classes. As I mentioned earlier, we did provide a bit of a sneak peek on the PMP official content license course. And this was to give organizations interested in applying a little bit of a feel and look into what that course is going to contain. We also provided some information on the ATP Train the Trainer program. Day one will focus on the technical aspects of the PMP exam, and it will have added focus on agile and hybrid methodologies. And day two will focus on facilitation techniques, such as how modern learners learn, meeting delivery preferences, and leading courses in a virtual environment. So as we've discussed, how should your partner choose to participate? Chapters do have the ability to opt into the ATP program. They will have the ability to apply just as commercial organizations, and it will be at the same pricing and same requirements. And chapters also have the ability to partner with ATPs to offer exam prep. Chapters can certainly leverage the RFP process in order to ensure that they are working with an ATP to deliver high quality training to their members. So here are some questions that we've been hearing so far. If I'm a chapter or organization in need of training for its members or employees respectively, how do I partner with an ATP? Chapters and organizations can create RFPs for their training needs, and all you have to do is fill out a form detailing your needs, and we're going to create that RFP, verify those details with you, and then send it to all of our premium authorized training partners, as they are the ones that are going to have exclusive access to RFPs. And we are going to launch the ATP Partner RFP form on our website on July 1st, 2020. How can chapters help their members prep for the PMP exam if they do not want to be an authorized training partner? And again, we want to continue to encourage chapters to empower their communities of members preparing for the PMP exam. If a chapter wants to be an ATP and offer PMP exam prep, they are going to have the ability to do so. If it's not advantageous for the chapter to become an ATP, they can still offer PMP study groups and mentoring programs. So as I mentioned, volunteers may not train for a fee within their chapter in order to avoid conflict of interests. Chapters who become authorized training partners may not permit their own volunteers to serve as instructors, but the members can. If a chapter becomes an authorized training partner, does that mean that certified instructors cannot serve as volunteers? And the answer to that question is yes. If a chapter becomes an ATP, only members can complete the train the trainer and facilitate exam prep training. Anyone who is part of the chapter's volunteer structure will not be permitted to facilitate training, as this is to reduce a potential conflict of interest. Therefore, those members that complete the train the trainer and facilitate exam prep training cannot serve as chapter volunteers. As chapters have already completed their annual planning and budgeting for 2020, would PMI consider deferring the ATP program for chapters until 2021? While we will not defer, we will work with chapters to understand the financial impact. These chapters should connect with their chapter partner, who is then going to guide them to demonstrate the financial impact to their chapter. Can chapters still provide PDUs and submit batch claims on behalf of their members and students? Yes, chapters can still provide PDU eligible courses as well as submit batch claims on behalf of their students. Does PMI have criteria around what a study group should look like? And can study groups provide contact dollars on the certification application? So currently PMI
Hello, everyone. Just recognizing that we've lost John. Give us a few seconds to try and fix this. Thank you. So while we're fixing John's connection, if you would like to start posting some of your questions into the Q&A chat box, and we will make sure to see if John is covering those in his presentation, or we can start addressing them right after. And I see John is coming back. That's the beauty of remote work and using own bandwidth, right, John? Thanks for your patience, guys.
This is Jenny, and I'm looking at the deck. I think John was just at the last slide of the deck, and so I can share that here real quickly. Can I share? No, I am not able to share, but I can reiterate that at that last slide, John was going to outline the additional resources for the team if you have any questions. So there is PMI Insight as well as the PMI Update Center. And then finally, we have on the PMI REP and REP resources page, there is an update to this new program that for the authorized training Partner Program. We have FAQs listed there based on a lot of the questions we've received, and there's also the full program benefits available on that deck, or I'm sorry, on that website. And then finally, if you have any additional questions particular to the program, you can certainly email repsupport@pmi.org. Or Lasan, if there's anything additional that you want to add before we open up the Q&A.
Sure, I can maybe add a few comments. I do want to share, and for those of you that do not know me, my name is Lysandra Bohn. I introduced myself in the beginning, but I saw a few more people joining us after. I am PMI's Manager Chapter Development Europe, based in Brussels, and most of you are probably familiar with my team member, Anka Kostake, Anna Zhukova, Alex Karam, as well as Roshin Kelly. So this is my team. We're available for you to, help you understand the changes we're making to this program. Please have conversations with us. We definitely invite you. Two things I would like to mention that we're planning to do. So one is, I think John started to already talk about, we are having a project started working together with KPMG one more time to better understand, the relationships that REPs or future ATPs as well as chapters can develop. We're trying to get a better understanding what were the historic pain points, what were potential channel conflicts, and what are potential relationships between ATPs and chapters moving forward. So they are at this point really trying to understand what solutions we are creating in the market. Some are really already coming up with a few ideas, proactively working with the RAPs to develop future business models. And we're going to test a few of these and make sure that we make this available and also see how we can differently support you moving forward. For some markets, these changes might not really have big changes. For other markets or chapters, that could really make a difference. I know that many European chapters do not depend on revenue from PMP prep courses at this point, especially here in Europe, but I know that this can have an impact on you with regards to sponsorship relationships or partnerships with existing RAPs that might not opt into this model. So I would definitely encourage you to start talking to your RAP partners in the market at this point to kind of get a sense of where they're at and maybe help them to understand the changes even better. I think a second thing I would like to mention is a survey that we are launching. We are looking at this next week, maybe a few days later, where we are trying to sense what kind of feedback you as chapter leaders have for us when it comes to the impacts of these changes. So we get a better sense of, do we really need to adjust a few items? Do we actually have not that many challenges in markets? Are we on the right track? So please look out for that survey as well and give us your feedback if you're facing any particular challenges in your market. These two things, so one, the project that looks into future relationship models, RAPs and chapters, as well as the survey where we ask for direct feedback from all of you. Please look out for those two items. That's what I also wanted to mention. And I'm checking in with Jenny and John to see if there's anything left for the presentation, please.
No, nothing left for the presentation, so we can proceed to the Q&A. We do have a couple questions coming in.
Okay, let me see if I can answer them.
Sure. So the first one, can chapters provide training in other certifications, not PMP, as well as provide study groups when the old REP program has been retired?
I can try to answer that. Jenny, please help me out if that's not sufficient. So chapters can provide training for other certifications like the PMP. Only if you would like to have PMP exam prep classes offered, that is when you should become an ATP. If you look at the other certification, that's not required. And looking at the PMP study group of the old REP program is obsolete and not an ATP. Yeah, so study groups, if it's not a full fleshed out prep course, study groups as well as, your regular touch base where you help people to prepare for the exam or like a mentoring approach. If it's not a fully fleshed out prep class, that is not requiring to become an ATP. And in some markets, that is actually a great additional value add for chapters to offer to their members indeed.
that is absolutely correct, Lasan. Thank you.
Yeah.
The next question, whether this new program applies for all current REPs. And yes, that is the case. The current REP program will be sunset and end on June 30th, with knowing that the new exam the new exam, which is significantly has new content, which starts on July 1st. So we are mirroring that. So the REP program will retire on June 30th, and the new program will start on July 1st. There is no opportunity to be grandfathered in as an REP. We are asking so that we're clear that all of the applicants are aware of the new requirements and select the tier that they want to be part of, that every training provider needs to apply to this new program. Let's see,
hey, Jenny,
go ahead.
I see another question. Maybe we can, swap. Sometimes I monitor questions and you answer, and then we just change. Let's be a little flexible. Sure. I'm seeing another question here from Oliver, who says, to my knowledge, no formal contracts have so far been sent to REPs, so that these companies cannot yet make a final decision whether they want to enter the ATP program. When will these contracts be sent out?
Sure. So the plan is that the application to the new program will open this Thursday, the 17th. However, the full program details, of which we just showed a snapshot on the slides today, the full program details have been posted to the REP resources page. They have been emailed to all of our main contacts in the REP newsletter, and we've used some other avenues to notify our current REPs of where they can find and locate the program benefits manual. So we have, as well as in addition to providing these webinars with our chapters, we are also conducting webinars with the REPs in each of the regions. So we really try to reach out literally by email, phone, website, as much as possible to share the new program benefits and direct any questions to the REP resources page or these webinars.
Thank you, Jenny. If I can ask attendees, please to post their questions in the Q&A box and not in the chat, because this is where we're looking for the questions. But I think I see one more question here. Laszlo is asking, this new program applies for all current REPs, right? Yeah, that's right. And he's also sharing some feedback from his market. Laszlo is from Hungary. Based on the first feedback he hears left and right, he is concerned with regards of the pricing, and this is something where companies, haven't really yet been convinced with regards to the pricing. Is that maybe something where we can talk about the exercise we did? Because I know we've done quite some research. We tested the pricing model as well, Laszlo. But I would also say, if you are having any kind of feedback which kind of leads us to have to assume that we will have no ATPs in the market, or need to come up with a bit more of an alternative approach, then let us have a conversation with regards to that, because I think there's also a few ways for us to continue ensuring that PMP exam takers are getting differently prepared. We're talking about on-demand offerings for PMP preparation by PMI. So there's a few other options as well. But if you would love to share with us more of the feedback that you're hearing, and we will also test in certain markets, obviously we have an interest of a good ATP coverage moving forward as well.
Absolutely, Lasan. Yes, you really captured that accurately. We, to provide a little further background, PMI engaged with KPMG Consulting in order to analyze the market of both our consumers as well as the REPs, in order to make sure that we were providing parity pricing and really meeting the needs of what students are willing to pay and are able to pay. And then in addition to that, in order to, ensure we have coverage, PMI has also developed an on-demand course that will be available for any of our students that may prefer that type of learning. So we have a couple different avenues for our students to take PMP exam prep.
Mm-hmm. I'm just looking through the questions. Thanks for posting them in the Q&A chat by now. Thank you. So we have a question or a set of questions from Pedro. Just to recheck, any organization could still provide PMP training as current. The advantage of ATP is that the training material is provided by PMI.
Yes, that's correct. So that's just one of the benefits, one of the many benefits. The first one being that the ATP will have the PMI authorized PMP test prep materials. In addition to that, their trainers will go through a train the trainer program where they will learn the technical content that first day, what's changing in the new exam, a lot of the review the agile and hybrid approaches. And then the second day of that training, again, we're looking to support our training partners. So we will be providing some guidance and some training on how to teach virtually, how to teach in the modern classroom. What we see now, learners are different now than they were 20, 30 years ago. So making sure that we bring and provide our training partners with the assets and tools that they need to be successful. And then in addition to that, let's see, also what is brand new in supporting this program is that we are, along with our marketing team and our digital content team, revamping the landing page in order to find and locate training from PMI, from the REPs. So when a student is navigating through their journey of studying and applying and preparing for the PMP, they will be provided a list, a list that allows them to search by modality, by region, by day, by even instructor, and that's going to be brought to the forefront of the search pages so that the ATPs that are in our program will be highlighted as being authorized by PMI, and we're definitely going to see and be able to provide a lot of traffic and activity and highlight to those partners.
Great. Thanks, Jenny.
Mm-hmm.
I'm seeing another question from Juicy. Hey, Juicy, thank you so much for joining. Juicy is calling in from Northern Italy, and the situation is definitely challenging there. So thank you so much for being with us on this call. This is incredible. Juicy is asking, hello, if the chapter is not an REP and will not become an ATP nor partner with ATP, could trainers be volunteers? Juicy, the question here, so can ATP's leaders be in chapter and in global volunteer programs? The answer is yes, they can volunteer, but we have to note that ATP trainers can then not train for a fee within their chapters, right? So it's about this training for a fee aspect that is then not allowed for them.
Yep, that is accurate.
Okay, I'm kind of looking at the chat. So Mikhail is asking if any of the chapter leader is also facilitating PMP trainer training already. What is the process? Does he or she need to resign from chapter leadership?
I don't know what the messaging, Lisan, that you have shared with the chapters. But again, I'd say that, reiterate what you had said previously is that, let's see, are they saying that they're going to be, that chapter leader is going to be in the ATP program?
Yeah, I would assume this is going for a particular case when a chapter leader right now is providing that training, and as if we move forward and the changes are applying, if we would recommend these chapter leaders then to leave a volunteer leadership role. I guess this is the question connected to it. I don't think that we have communicated any particular guidance on that one. I would say generally I would say if the person can refrain from training in the chapter for a fee, the person does not have to leave the volunteer board, right? It really is about the volunteering aspect can continue, but if the person is aiming to facilitate for a fee the PMP prep course, this is what will not be allowed, and maybe it even is a individual chapter decision to say, maybe this person is, should better leave the board in order to continue the training business, or the person says, I'm not even intending to do this in the chapter context, then that is fine, and the person can stay.
Right, and look to support the chapter and support the candidates in a different way, potentially offering, study sessions or continuing to provide PDU only type training, because there's absolutely still a need for our certification holders to continue their learning.
Cool. Quick check in between. John, are you back with us in the meantime? Not yet. Okay. Just another question. Oh, here he is. Hi, Lee.
Hi. Sorry, I've been talking the whole time, and no one's been able
With
to hear me.
who?
I'm sorry about that.
No
My
problem.
cell phone dropped the reception. I dialed right back in, but I am back to help address your questions. And
Great to have
I
you
do
back.
apologize to everyone for that loss in connectivity. I'm sorry.
No worry, John. Nothing you can do about it. So we do have another question from Robert here, and he's asking, the current requirements for 35 hours contact hours will have to be through ATP or can be done by current REP who will not be ATP. So the question is, do we accept the 35 contact hours by non-ATPs?
That's a great question. Thanks for asking it. Students may still claim contact hours from organizations that are not enrolled in the Authorized Training Partner Program. However, any student that is visiting PMI to research PMI certifications or to research training offerings associated with project management, PDU eligible courses, or PMP exam prep will be directed to one of our authorized training partners, and we will be educating the public as to the value of moving forward with an authorized training partner and how to identify them in the marketplace.
Thanks, John. Jenny, I see another question from Oliver here, just to kind of confirm, did I understand this correct, that a chapter will not be allowed to offer PMP classes against a fee unless it is an ATP or partners with ATP?
Correct.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, just to expand on that, if a PMI chapter is interested in providing PMP exam prep training, they have one of two options. They can certainly enroll in the ATP program, or they may partner with an authorized training partner to deliver the exam prep training.
Thank you. So I'm browsing through the Q&A, everybody. I'm not seeing, I think we got every question answered so far. We'll give you guys a few more minutes if you can think of more questions. Yes, it is definitely a change, Oliver, definitely. But just to reiterate on the change itself, this is not something which we do to hurt anybody, but this is really in the interest of our customers, which have told us that they were not very happy with how they got prepared by our current REPs in some cases. So we definitely had to address this globally. And yes, it definitely is a change and will have its impact, which we will manage through. If you're having any more questions, please make sure you type them into the Q&A chat box. We'll hopefully get them answered.
I just saw a comment from Johanna in regards to the World Health Crisis and the coronavirus. And yes, this was something that I had planned to address during the presentation. However, technology did not cooperate with me today. So PMI is working with the crisis team to evaluate the World Health Crisis and the coronavirus, as well as the impact that it's going to have to our partners out there. So we are, actively researching this, and we will be communicating all business decisions as it relates to the coronavirus as soon as they are made and are readily available.
And John, do you want to let the team know where they can find those updates regarding the COVID-19 impact?
Yeah, updates should be available on the REP program resources page.
Okay.
I do want to ask a question on behalf of the audience, John, if you don't mind, because it's usually a question that we receive. This is about languages. I know that you have already spoken about, in which languages materials will be made available. And also here, PMI has actually created or made some efforts to support regions a little differently. Do you mind talking about this for a few seconds?
Not at all, Hassan. Thanks for bringing it up. So we are actively working on having the PMP exam prep content translated into 8 different languages. We determined the 8 different languages by the demand we see for the PMP exam to be taken in. So we are diligently working to have the course content translated into traditional Chinese, simplified Chinese, Japanese, Korean, Arabic, French, Brazilian Portuguese, and Latin American Spanish.
Great, thank you. So I'm seeing Oliver in the chat reiterating again that the whole contractual situation with the ATP still needs to be addressed. Yep, we discussed that before. And I think Jenny reiterated on when this is going to happen. I also would want to kind of reiterate on the fact that if you have more questions on these changes, please use the opportunity to talk to your chapter partners and chapter administrators or myself in the Brussels team. We are here to help you understand the details and manage through the change this could have in your market as well. And if we do not know the answer, we definitely know where to find, Jenny and John and their entire group to help us out and get you the answers needed. If you feel there's an interest in talking more about these changes and would like us to start, maybe organizing a webinar among chapter leaders, maybe we can start to build some best practices around how you're handling the change, how you're finding new collaboration models with your RAPs or ATPs in the future. Please reach out to us and let us know, because there's definitely a few ideas already out there that we can, make available to all of you and see if that's applicable to your markets as well. I do.
And Lisanne, I just wanted to jump in.
Sure.
Bridget, our teammate, was kind enough to post in the chat the link to the single source message that we are, PMI is preparing regarding the coronavirus impact. So it's more in the totality of, how it's impacting certification, events, those type of things. So definitely recommend the team bookmark that for continuing updates.
Okay, thanks. Okay, John, anything else?
I would just like to thank everyone again for their attendance today. I'm sorry this was not as smooth of a webinar as we have conducted up to this point, but again, technology does not always cooperate with our needs. So please, again, as Jenny and Lisanne have reiterated, if you have any additional questions, please direct them to the REP support team at repsupport@pmi.org, and continue to visit the REP program resources page. That will be your best resource for information in regards to the retirement of the current REP program, and the launch of the new Authorized Training Partner Program. So thank you again for your time, everyone, and wish you a great rest of the day.
Thanks, everyone. Stay healthy, please.
Thank you.